we continue the conversation on the hottest form of Alabama football talk. This is yours truly, Stephen Smith, on In My Own Words, the podcast, Touchdown Alabama magazine. And in the first segment, it was all about quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and why the Heisman belongs to him, despite the fact that Kyler Murray of Oklahoma, Will Grier of West Virginia, Gardner Minshew of Washington State, and Dwayne Haskins of Ohio State. I mean, all of these guys, great athletes, great character, superior talents, but Tua on another level, and he has physically, mentally, emotionally, and vibe-wise impacted the way or changed the way you think, feel, perceive Crimson Tide football. But before we dive into topic 2 of the conversation, gotta remind you of the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You want the best in practice recap, game recaps, highlights, recruiting. You want to be the insider. You want to know what Nick Saban's hair color is. You pick up the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You check it out. If you're rocking Team Android, the Google Play Store. You're rocking Team iPhone or Team Apple, the iPhone App Store. Pick it up today. Invest in yourself, but you can have all the knowledge in terms of the Crimson Tide Touchdown Alabama magazine app. But to my bone that I have to pick with National Award Foundation when it comes to postseason honors at the end of the season, Alabama fans have had this gripe with the Ray Guy Award Foundation because when J.K. Scott was in Tuscaloosa from 2014 to 2017, he never won the award, though he rightfully deserved to win it at least once. J.K.'s freshman year out of Denver, Colorado, he came in knowing that he had to be an impact player, a leader, an MVP type guy, because the Tide, you really did not know what Alabama had defensively. This came at a time where C.J. Mosley was going to the National Football League. You didn't know who your pass rushers would be. In the secondary, Cyrus Jones was still trying to grow. Eddie Jackson was rushed back from a knee. Geno Smith certainly was not the same since his freshman year. Landon Collins was probably your bright spot. And then there was Nick Perry, the fifth-year senior there. So you really didn't know what you had on that defense. So J.K. Scott had to be the man. And he was the man. Averaged 48 yards a punt his freshman year and led the nation. 31 of his 56 attempts pinned opponents inside the 20-yard line. That was 56.4%. Had an incredible year, All-American year. Did not win the Ray Guy Award and win his whole career without earning that trophy, despite booming the ball 50, 60, 70 yards and it being a work of art. So to this day, whenever Crimson Tide fans see somebody of the Ray Guy Award Foundation, they foam at the mouth because they're like, you robbed JK. So anybody at the Ray Guy Award Committee, Tide fans, take your word with a grain of salt because JK didn't win the award. And it got so bad, I remember one year, Scott was not even a semifinalist for the award due to he did not have enough punts to qualify to be a semifinalist. Where they do that at, because the guy from Ohio State had the same amount of punts that JK had, but JK had the higher average on punts. JK had the more amount of pinning guys inside for 20, but Buckeyes guy got the nod for the Ray Guy. JK didn't, but Tide fans thought they had seen the end of this horrific problem. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this issue has reared its ugly head again in the form of the John Mackey Award Foundation, which goes to college football's most outstanding tight end. 3 finalists have been named. Albert Okwuegbunam of Missouri. I'm just going to call him Albert O, but it's Albert Okwuegbunam of Missouri. We have T.J. Hawkinson of Iowa and Caden Smith of Stanford. Now, if this award was given to the individual at tight end that had the best body of work, the most body of work throughout a career, then Alberto and TJ Hockenson are justified. Because Alberto, let's be honest, he is the favorite target of Drew Lock and has been the last 2 years. We're talking about 17 touchdown receptions, 11 in 2017, 6 this year. He's got 43 catches for 466 yards. And then you look at TJ Hockenson for the 7-4 Iowa Hawkeyes, he's their leading man. 46 catches, 717 yards, and 6 scores. So if it's based on body of work, Alberto and Hockenson, justifiable. Can't say the same for Caden Smith. But if this is about the best tight end for a particular season, if this is about the #1 tight end for a particular year, then the John Mackey Award ought to be ashamed because Irv Smith Jr. of Alabama just got pickpocketed, just got robbed. Because Irv Smith this season, he has the higher yards per catch average and the higher touchdown receptions than all 3 of these guys listed. Alberto and TJ Hockenson each have 6 touchdowns. Caden Smith has 2. Irv Smith has 7. The most touchdowns ever recorded by Alabama tight end in a season of the Nick Saban era. And then on top of that, Alberto has 10.84 yards per catch. Hockenson has 15.59 yards per catch. Caden Smith has 13.51 yards per catch. Irv Smith, 17.51. Nearly 20 yards of catch for Irv Smith. He's had a game this year where he had over 100 yards receiving, that being Arkansas, 2 catches, a $123, and a touchdown. And here's the craziness of why it's unfair. Go back to 2016. Recall it 3 years ago. The John Mackey Award Foundation had 3 finalists. Jake Butt of Michigan ended up winning the award. But one of the 3 finalists was former Alabama tight end O.J. Howard. O.J. that year in 2016, 45 catches, 595 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Irv Smith at this point has more receiving yards than O.J., 613 for Irv, 595 for O.J. O.J. has a couple more catches than Irv, O.J. 45, Irv 35, so 10 more catches than Irv. But Irv has more receiving yards, Irv has more touchdowns. Irv 7, O.J. 3. Irv has the higher yards per catch average. Irv 17.13, or 17.51, excuse me. O.J. 13.22, but yet O.J. is the finalist in 2016, and Irv not a finalist in 2018. Houston, we have a serious problem because O.J. Howard did not have an offensive coordinator that really wanted to give him the football. Lane Kiffin gave O.J. the football when it was convenient for Lane, and that was in national championship college football playoff situations. With the guys Alabama has now, Dan Enos, Mike Loxley, Josh Gaddis, they see we got a 6'4", 246-pound matchup nightmare. He getting the football, and Irv Smith is getting the football. And plus, Alabama's got the quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa that's whipping it across the field. But that's besides the point. Point being, of the 3 finalists on this list, Irv has bigger numbers, yards per catch average, touchdowns, than all 3 of these guys, and he is not on the list. John Mackey Award, serious problem in that regard. So, just like the Ray Guy Award, Crimson Tide fans look at the John Mackey Award with a bit of disgust because Swervin' Urban, Irv Smith, not on here, yet he has outperformed the 3 tight ends listed: Alberto of Missouri, TJ Hockenson of Iowa, and Caden Smith of Stanford, who, by the way, Caden Smith only has 2 touchdown receptions this season. But if it's about body of work, 2 of the 3 tight ends on this list, justifiable. But if it's about, for a season, the best tight end for a season, a particular year, Irv Smith got robbed, folks. And that's the God honest truth. But taking our final break here on In My Own Words. When we come back, we're getting into something fun here. Crimson Tide will not have Jared Maiden for the first half of the SEC championship game against Georgia. Got called for targeting against Auburn. Who will replace Maiden in the first half? We'll touch on that. And is the Beast returning to Alabama's front 7 as far as creating that pass rush? We'll get into the Beast coming back and who replaces Jared Maiden on the other side of the break. Folks, don't touch that dial. It's In My Own Words. Be back.